podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My drop, I know my drop, I know my situation. I want to fight. That's my production. But it's gonna be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. We're back this morning with a rumor mill edition of TBV, hashtag TBV podcast. And we're going to be discussing Tony Bellew and one of his options. Did he reject a Dillian Whyte as an option, or did he duck Dillian Whyte as an opponent? Because there was an offer. We're going to get into all those details. This is what we'll be talking about this morning, depending on where you're at, evening, depending on where you're at. So, you know, if you're ready to rock out with us, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. You know the number to call in if you want to voice your opinion on this here topic on the Voice of the People hotline, 1-425-569-5241. And don't forget to support the show by sharing it to get this out in front of the eyes. Let's head on over to the Golden State, get my co-host in here, that Matt, the Hipster Hunter, and see his thoughts on this.
Dollar DiBiase production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rock into a knock out. When the main thing is, I just hope the guy, I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Hipsters here, haters beware. And Tony Bellew, Dillian Whyte is not happening on December. The card is not going to be saved. It looks like. I don't know if that card is going to be scrapped or if the main event is just gone and they're going to keep the card as is, or if they're going to replace it. God knows. I remember Dove yesterday did talk about moving the Katie Taylor card, which I believe is on a Wednesday, to that as well, as to sort of beef it up a little bit, maybe make Katie Taylor the main event. There's some options out there for Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Sports. We're going to see what they're going to do, obviously, in the coming week or two. But this fight's not happening. And according to Dillian Whyte in his own social media account, saying, I apologize to all the people that the fake heavyweight Tony Bellew has let down by not having the balls to fight me and save the December show. The man's a coward. So it looks like maybe there was an offer given. According to Dillian Whyte, there was an offer given. And Tony Bellew has rejected that offer. Now, is it a duck? Some people may say yes. Some people may say no. So can we chop it up with you, Ness, and the callers?
I mean, this day and age, it's really difficult to say a fighter's ducking anyone. But I think that, Matt, in this particular case, can an argument be made, being as though Tony Bellew has yet to face a heavyweight that doesn't have an asterisk attached to his name, that isn't injury prone, isn't coming off of an injury, because we'll give him that. The David Haye original fight, he went into it balls to the wall, not knowing that Haye had an Achilles, injury or was going to have one. But in waiting out for the rematch, we all know that we don't know what we have in David Haye coming off of that Achilles. So, it's kind of simple. The easier touch is what I'm saying. Like, Dillian Whyte doesn't have any asterisks. He's a real heavyweight who cracks really hard. He's young. He's hungry. He's not a faded or fading or older, whatever term you want to use for David Haye. Is he, I don't think I could say legend. He was a phenomenal cruiserweight, and he was able to capture a title at heavyweight in a nice fashion versus Valueg, who was a very tall heavyweight. But we all had higher hopes for him as a heavyweight. And as a heavyweight, his career didn't do as well as it did as a cruiserweight. And all I'm saying is there can be a universe where some will consider Bellew ducking a young up-and-coming heavyweight such as Dillian Whyte. And we have to ask ourselves and our UK public, if Dillian Whyte is enough for Wilder, he should be more than enough for a domestic super fight with Tony Bellew.
Yeah, and I think the issue is for Tony Bellew, like, what is his goal here? We know that Tony Bellew has 1 foot in, 1 foot out the sport. He has said that numerous times, that he is very close to retirement, that he is a fight or 2 away from giving it up. And in my mind, he was taking the David Haye rematch because it represented money. It represented some damaged goods in David Haye, even though that name value was still definitely there. We know that David Haye does numbers. David Haye is he's a star. For whatever you want to say, David Haye is a star, especially in the UK market. So it was a good, winnable fight. That was a money fight. Dillian Whyte's a money fight. I think we can all agree on that. But is it winnable? I would say that if I'm Tony Bellew, and let's say I asked Eddie Hearn, yeah, I'll fight Dillian Whyte. You got to give me some more millions, though. You got to give me a couple more million for that one. I would take it, though. I think Dillian Whyte, while being a more natural heavyweight than David Haye, of course, being younger, being more in shape in terms of just physical prime, not necessarily, physique, because David Haye also obviously is in better physical condition that way. But, I mean, Dillian Whyte's not a better boxer than David Haye. David Haye is a much superior technician than Dillian Whyte. And we know Tony Bellew is a pretty good boxer as well. Plus, it's a 4-week notice fight. Dillian Whyte's just coming off a fight. He's probably on vacation. He may not be in the best shape. He may not be in boxing shape. I don't understand why he doesn't take it. I don't understand why Tony Bellew doesn't take this fight. I think it is winnable. I think Dillian Whyte is a winnable match for a Tony Bellew, even though he's a much bigger opponent than David Haye. So I'm not going to say he's ducking, but I think there is this worry about facing natural heavyweights. Tony Bellew has been very honest about that. He doesn't want to face big heavyweights, such as Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua, obviously his friend, but let's be honest, he doesn't want to face Anthony Joshua for other reasons as well. It wouldn't surprise me if he just doesn't want to face anyone that's a natural heavyweight, and he's scared of that in some way.
And obviously, Dillian Whyte had to have shown him something in the Chisora fight, but you would wonder if, watching him in the Lainez fight wasn't enough to entice a Bellew. I mean, again, he had the balls to get in there with Haye without knowing that Haye was had some sort of injury. And I don't know if you said, I thought I heard you say something about physique, but maybe you didn't. We all know I obsess with that. I would like my fighters to actually look like fighters. And I think that Dillian Whyte is not only sloppy in the body, but he's also sloppy in the ring. And like you, I believe it's a winnable fight for a guy like Bellew. I remember when he was taking his shots at Deontay Wilder, he was selling the world that he felt he was technically more sound than Wilder and that he held the better win in the division over Wilder. All that arguably is true, according to who you speak to. So that should, I guess, hold the same merit when it comes to a Dillian Whyte, who, let's be honest, is not Deontay Wilder when comparing the two. So there's less of a risk for a Tony Bellew. And it's an in-house fight. Both are promoted by Eddie Hearn. They can save an already sold-out crowd. I just don't get it. If he's not going to be a real heavyweight, Matt, I don't have an issue with that. I won't call him a duck. But you have to go back down to cruiserweight or retire. You can't keep masquerading as a heavyweight, yet picking and choosing. Because, listen, let's be honest. Bellew definitely has had a resurgence since the Adonis Stevenson knockout. But he's made his bones off that David Haye name. But there's an asterisk next to it. And he should at least want to try and get a legitimate win in the heavyweight division, so they can't say, yeah, he beat David Haye, but he beat a heavyweight in David Haye, but that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand the idea that if you want to like legitimize this move to heavyweight, you need to face someone without asterisks. And if David Haye wasn't hurt, he would have, I think, sufficed to that. But he was hurt in the fight. But again, I think if he went down, let's say he moved back down to cruiserweight, and let's say he took on the winner of the tournament. Hypothetically, of course, I'm not saying he does that, but let's say hypothetically he does that, and he fights Usyk or whoever is there, and he beats them. I think that's equally legitimizing to his legacy or his career as a Dillian Whyte fight or a healthy David Haye.
Absolutely, Matt, but he needs to decide and make it public.
Yes, 100%.
Moving so that he won't be considered a diva, a cherry picker. Because let's be honest, if you're good enough for David Haye, but you're not good enough for Deontay Wilder after you meet him face to face, now you're not good enough for Dillian Whyte. You obviously are not good enough, and I'm saying. I don't mean not good enough in the traditional sense where he's not good enough to fight him, where he doesn't have the skills. I mean, obviously he doesn't feel I don't know what it is, right? But like he already isn't acknowledging Tyson Fury's call out. That would be an even bigger domestic level super fight. That'll reach the States easily if Tyson Fury comes back. Tyson Fury said, let's do it in March 5th. I mean, if this isn't cherry picking, and I'm not saying it to be offensive at all, Matt. I know they listen and they catch feelings. I'm just saying it because it's the traditional word. It's the traditional phrase to use, especially in this particular situation when you have a particular heavyweight choosing to fight particular heavyweights or specific heavyweights, rather. It can't be called anything other than cherry pick or duck unless he says, I'm not a real heavyweight. I had my sing and dance at heavyweight with David Haye. I'm going back down or I'm retiring. He doesn't have to say any of that if he just retires at heavyweight. And it's like, boom, he got that fight. It's over, whatever.
And I think whatever Tony Bellew decides, I think we're sort of okay with it. Like, we really don't care. We just don't have this limbo thing where we really don't know what to say with Tony Bellew. Like, should we keep talking about him with the heavyweight division? Doesn't seem like it because he's not interested in those heavyweights. So why is he there? It just I don't like that aspect of it. I wish Tony Bellew would clear that up just for the fans, the media, everyone involved.
Yeah, man. I say we go out to the callers. We'll go to our sponsors and we'll get their thoughts on this offer being rejected. If you want to read the quote before we play before we go to the sponsors, just reread the quote for anybody that might have just tuned in. We're talking Tony Bellew. We all know his fight with David Haye was postponed. Tickets have been sold. There is a venue. We just need an opponent. We had two people now offer their services, Tyson Fury and now Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte actually says he sent an offer. Matt will give you the details.
The quote from Dillian Whyte said, I apologize to all the people that the fake heavyweight Tony Bellew has let you down by not having the balls to fight me and save the December show. The man's a coward. Sad.
Yo, shout out to Dillian Whyte. That dude has no chill. I mean, he talked about Wilder the same way, Big Baby Miller the same way. He really is a talker. And it's funny because he used the word save. He wants to save the card, I don't know. And if he's willing to step in, I'm sure Eddie was involved somewhere along the lines. But let's get out to the sponsor. Remember, the number to call in is 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time if you want to go ahead and voice your opinion here on the Voice of the People hotline. We're going to be taking your calls. International callers, add Nestor Gibbs on Skype. That's NESTORGIBBS. And add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the friend list, and we can add you on Skype. You can call in internationally. We're talking Bellew and Haye postponement, as well as stand-in want to be replacement Dillian Whyte. And I'm interested, Matt. I really wouldn't mind this. Obviously, Dillian Whyte can't fight Deontay Wilder in December, so if he could sneak in another fight right in December before a Deontay Wilder fight next year, I like it. He didn't look his best versus Robert Helenius. I'm sure he wants to turn around and give the fight fans a better impression of himself and leave a a better taste in our mouth for sure. Let's go out to the sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out across the pond to what is it? Queen of England, Mother England, or I don't know, something like that. We'll figure it out. Idris, what's going on, brother? Long time. Where you been at?
Yeah, man, long time, man. Hope everyone's good on that, man. Listen, I listen to every show, man, but you know what? Right now, what I've been doing is listening to the shows on, like, while I'm in the gym and stuff like that. So when I see you lot alive, I think, yeah, I've got my next day plan, stuff like that. But I'm still Patreon, strong, obviously. You get me? I'm paying that money. And you know what?
Yo, listen, you gotta check out the Patreon. We got a 3-hour interview there with Keith Thurman that is insane. We have All right, make sure you check it out, bro. He's talking about everything.
That's my day sorted tomorrow, man. But you know what? Let me just give a little plug about Patreon, man. Do you know that show you did with Eddie Hearn and stuff? Yeah, a lot of people was calling in saying it was the best show, all of that, boom, boom, boom. This is the reason why I do Patreon. Sometimes I don't even use Patreon. It's just my money. I want to give them that money that I work hard for to you guys. I don't even need to use Patreon sometimes. You know what I'm trying to say? That's my way of paying you guys every month out of my account and saying thank you. So all you guys that are calling in, well, talking that talk, saying that you guys really appreciate everything, put your money where your mouth is, man. It's a couple bucks a month out of your account. Simple as that, man. Yeah, man. That's what it is, man. It's true, just true talk, man. Anyway, man, Dillian Whyte, Tony Bellew, Joe Miller, I just want to say, man, heavyweights are the most charismatic division. Levels above every other division, man. The other divisions need to step up, man. You are making too much live talks about the heavyweights, man. It's getting too much right now, but it's because the other divisions are getting a bit, they don't speak like that, man. Because Gerald Miller, Dillian Whyte, we've got too much shit coming up in 2018. It's going to be big, man. I'm out, man. And you got to sign up to Patreon.
Idris, thank you for calling in. Thank you for the kind words. Obviously, thank you for the support on Patreon. Your patronage has led to the Camp Life of Sullivan Barrera, Camp Life of Rigondeaux, Guillermo Rigondeaux, and obviously the exclusive Patreon only 3-hour one-on-one sit down with Keith One-Time Thurman and the TBV podcast crew. Matt, let's get to another call. Let's see. We're going to go out to New Jersey's finest, Mr. King. Didn't I win a award at one of the...
You won something. I just forget what it was.
Come on, what do you mean something, man?
We gave out so many awards in New York for Thurman Garcia. We gave out a ton. And to be fair, I may have been downstairs when most of those awards were given out.
Man, drop the ball, Matt.
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean. My man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Now hold up. Let's make this official. Everybody, let's agree that.
First one here, last one to leave. Definitely 2017 caller of the motherfucking year, Mr. Matthew Hunter. Don't you forget it until there's another caller of the year, my friend. With that being said, yeah, holy. My guys, I love what you guys, mute yourself, girl. I love what you guys are doing. I even got a guest on the line, one of my closest compadres. I'm turning her on to the Boxing Voice because we talk about the show, and as much as we get calls and all kind of people, Sean Porter calling in, I'm still bringing this shit to just everyday people because this is what we do. I heard Ness when he was talking about his son and this and that. And I'm like, yo, we're all fathers. We got so much shit going on, and we still make time for this pastime of ours, man. So shout out to everybody, TVV family. But let me get into this call right quick. Tony Bellew has a lot of reason. He got a lot of reason to be afraid of fighting a true heavyweight. And Dillian Whyte, he should. That's my call.
No. Yeah. We just started it.
Okay. He's got a lot of reason to be afraid because Dillian Whyte, no matter how sloppy he may or may not look, that's a big dude at naturally fighting at heavyweight. And Bellew, even when he was fighting at Bellew, he looked like you know, a little bit soft, like he was just making the weight or fighting at way above his walk-around weight. So to have that caution of getting into the ring with somebody that, you know, even if they have lesser skill, it's just so dangerous. But what happened to a motherfucker like Bryant Jennings? Why not a Bellew and Jennings or a Bellew and Cunningham? Those guys, you know, from time to time go down between cruiser and heavyweight. Even though it might not be as attractive to UK fans, I think those fights are probably a little bit better. They should be easier to make since I think Jennings, he just signed to Matchroom not too long ago?
Well, Jennings signed a top rank.
You know, top rank. Okay.
Remember.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of reason for him. Yeah, listen, this is what we do, Mr. Hunter. This is why Caller of the Year 2017, brother. Okay, but listen, I think there's a lot of you know, other fights that could be made. I'm trying to think of shit. Even Isaac Chilemba. Let Isaac Chilemba put on some weight and take that fight. But I'm not gonna hold up the line. I love y'all, man. He already fuck it. You know? Let somebody else contribute something I ain't said. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead, fellas. Love what y'all do. I'm gonna check out the rest of the content we got. Appreciate you, man.
I mean, as always, great call, brother. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for putting someone else on. So shout out to your guest. I want to say he did fight Isaac Chilemba. I could be wrong. Am I wrong? Was it maybe Cleverly fought Chilemba and I'm wrong?
Didn't he fight twice?
Okay, so I'm right. I thought it was.
I
thought it was him. I'm not. I don't have my favorite site, BoxRec. They need to sponsor us. Those guys. They're such. I mean, we haven't never spoken to anyone really, but they really should already know that we use it religiously. Speaking of religiously, you should be pressing that thumbs up religiously. Why? Because you love the show, and even if you don't, you come here just to hate anyway. So why not, you know, continue to hate by spreading the show so that more people like you that want to hate can, you know, kind of be with you hating. But you know, the only way to spread that hate is by actually hitting the thumbs up so other people can see what you're hating on. Truly, it's like a hate circle, really.
Worst reverse psychology I've ever seen in my life.
Well, thanks for spilling the beans, Matt. Whoever I was gonna get with that no longer is got. I'm just saying.
In DC.
Let's go.
Was he the rookie caller?
What's good, man?
17.
I was prospect of the year 2017. I'm moving that thing from prospect. Unlike Francisco Bajado, I'm going there for a title of mine. You know what I'm saying? But yo, check this out. I mean, Bellew, first of all, we had to give him props for taking him and David Haye. We got to look at certain fighters. Like when we watch people who move up in weight, they tend to fight a fighter. They tend to not have a problem fighting a fighter in the above weight if that fighter also had moved up in weight. You know what I mean? So you'll see a dude who's 154 going to 160 and fight somebody like Gabe Rosado because Gabe Rosado used to be 54. But you won't see somebody necessarily from a 54 jump right up and fight a true 160. So with that being said, it makes sense that Bellew and David Haye are going to fight because we're talking about two former cruiserweight champions. However, what King Amin had hit on purely is that regardless of how much Dillian Whyte or any of those other dudes don't look well against other 230 and 240 pound heavyweights, then he could still have a field day on a 210 pound blown up cruiserweight who's just fighting in the heavyweight division for entertainment. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, he's not supposed to take that risk. Now, if he called up somebody like Gassier, the 190 pound champion, and said, Gassier, man, let's have a fight at 200, you know, Abel Sanchez's guy, then that would make sense. But I mean, it's not really many heavyweights that's truly the size in the size rank as Bellew. So I mean, Bellew is very smart. Roy Jones has said when he took on John Ruiz, will he be willing to take on other heavyweights like Holyfield and them? He said, you know what, I ain't gonna say that I can do that because those other guys are big and keeping them off of them takes a lot of energy. He said, I think I could if I put my mind to it, but it would be a lot more difficult. And I think it's the same thing that's applying with Tony Bellew. I don't really think Tony Bellew can keep those big dudes up off of him, and I think we know that in boxing, when you can't keep somebody off you, that's a very dangerous recipe, especially in the heavyweight division. Let me ask you a question. When Deontay Wilder got hurt in the Arreola fight, what was his first fight back? Was Gerald Washington, right?
Yep. Top 10 heavyweight.
No, he's not.
Within the same calendar year, within the same calendar year.
I ain't even gonna argue with you, man.
Against Luis Ortiz. Within the same calendar year, he scheduled a big fight against Luis Ortiz, right?
Yep.
So if Keith Thurman schedules a tune-up fight in 2018, if he doesn't fight,
oh my God! So you going to another subject? Come on, man.
No.
I'm out on you. I'm out on you. And anyway, he ain't got to fight Thurman in 2018. It won't be a duck because he could schedule Jesse Vargas in March, take his mandatory sometime in the end of the year, which is Sean Porter. He's not going to lose a title to gain a title. He's got to defend the title to make it a unification. Come on, man. That's why you're a prospect right there. Gary in Dallas, yeah, shots fired.
Yo,
what's going on, Ness?
What up?
Yo, I think the Bellew and Dillian Whyte fight makes a lot of sense. I would probably favor Dillian Whyte in this fight, but like I wouldn't be shocked if Bellew could win. I mean, Bellew's a more skilled fighter. Yeah, he'd be giving up some weight, but what did Bellew weigh for the David Haye fight? 210.
Well, no, it's a heavyweight.
Yeah, and what is Dillian Whyte weigh? About 240?
We could check it out. Let me get on it.
That's about 30-pound difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Wilder and Joshua is about a 30-pound difference too. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's actually a bit more now.
Somebody's going to give a weight.
Dillian Whyte weighed 247.5 pounds his last fight. And Tony Bellew, give me a moment, because it should have a producer, but, you know, fucking Superman Steven is gone, MIA. Tony Bellew. A Patreon, you know, if we would have had the Patreon, we won't lose poor Steven. The Bomber, let's see here. He weighed his last fight 213.5. So about 30 pounds.
He's giving up about 30. Isn't that what Wilder was giving up to Joshua? You know what I'm saying?
Wilder weighed 220 for the Stavern fight, and Joshua weighed 254 for his Tackham fight.
So Wilder is giving Bellew is giving up as much weight to Dillian Whyte as Wilder would be giving up to Joshua.
Yeah,
you know, there's no difference. If Bellew could pull the upset on Whyte, which I don't think is impossible, I think he could win.
That's what I said.
Smart. That puts him right in the mix.
Yeah,
like,
but he doesn't want to. But Gary, he doesn't want to be in the mix, right? He had an opportunity to fight Wilder, and then when they met, he changed his mind. You know, he's got an opportunity now to fight Dillian Whyte, and he rejects. I mean, that's the question. That's what this show is about. Does he really want to be a heavyweight, or is he a heavyweight masquerading? Excuse me, is he a cruiserweight masquerading as a heavyweight for the right fight? You know, and if Dillian Whyte isn't the right fight, because let's just be honest, man. Dillian Whyte isn't David Haye.
Eddie Hearn's got to get in his ear and tell him this is the fight. Like, this is your opportunity. I mean, if he wins this fight, he's right in position.
Yeah, I don't know that he wants to be in that position. The position of the top 4 heavyweights is a dangerous one. Luis Ortiz, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. It's ugly up there. You know, maybe he's in position for a Joseph Parker, but he's always been in position for Joseph Parker. He didn't take that fight either. There was small talk about that. We've seen rumors and headlines. Gary, man, thanks for calling in. Listen, we got what? We got Matt. I wanted to actually say,
what
is the Dillian Whyte, Tony Bellew too big to take on short notice? Is it a let's scrap the card, this card, and reschedule, promote this properly? Because the type of guy that Dillian Whyte and the Bomber can be, they're both vocal. I mean, fist flew at the Bellew Haye press conference. Bomber's known to fucking, say what's on his mind. He had choice words for Deontay Wilder. So a press conference, an actual buildup for this fight, or is maybe Bellew saying to himself, if I take this now, we're losing out on a couple of extra zeros.
No, I don't see that at all.
Damn, shoot me down.
I'll be honest. And again, I don't have the financials in front of me, and none of us do. It's just speculation, obviously. But this fight probably was going to do somewhere near 600 to 900,000 pay-per-view buys with David Haye. It was going to do somewhere in that range because it did in that range for the first fight. With Dillian Whyte, I think it would have stayed on par with that. So you would have saved money in that way instead of losing it in a way, because now we have an idea where the card is no longer there. Because again, it's not necessarily about Tony Bellew. You got to think about Eddie Hearn's position. Eddie Hearn's the one that's really in control of this. It's his event. He's going to make sure that he tries to get his recoup his losses on a David Haye injury. And the best way to do that is Dillian Whyte. So I assume that Eddie Hearn was pressuring Tony Bellew. To me, this is not a money issue for Tony Bellew, because Dillian Whyte presents just as much money, in my opinion, as a David Haye nowadays. So I don't see it in that way. This was I don't want to face a real heavyweight. I don't want to face a naturally sized heavyweight, which I understand.
Well, let's get back out to these phone lines. We got the 443. Is that not Wood, or is this another Boston area caller? Boston, not Boston, Baltimore. 443 is the Baltimore area. 443, first-time caller. Who's this?
Yep, Tyrone.
All right, brother. Listen, I'm going to get and play this first-time caller intro. You listen to that intro. You let the world know your name, where exactly in Baltimore you're calling from, and you go ahead right into your call.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Tyrone.
From?
I'm from the Eastern Shore. I'm from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, but I'm living in Pittsburgh right now.
All right, Tyrone. Actually, since this is your first time calling, let me just ask you, how'd you run into the show? How'd you hear about us? Is this your first time ever listening, or just your first time calling?
No, I've been watching it for a while, but for real, I saw that Eddie Hearn interview with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury on there. I thought that was funny. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents.
Go for it.
Yeah, but I'll say this, man. Bellew's a bum. He's been a bum since day one. I mean, I wish Adonis Stevenson would have killed him in that ring. I mean, that guy's been ducking, dodging everybody. God on water after he beat that African dude. He thought he was a God on water, beat that African dude for the WBC. And he got shook the moment Deontay Wilder stepped to him. I'm not surprised he didn't take that fight with Whyte.
All right. So, I guess where should he go?
He should just retire. I think David Haye would have killed him in the rematch, to be honest, because this guy's like a known coward. I mean, you look at the first fight, that dude signed a will before he fought David Haye. You can search it up, but nobody talk about it. I mean, he's an absolute bum.
Well,
and everybody if he went back to the cruiserweight division, all those mugs would have killed him. Everybody in that Super Series would have killed him, and he knows that.
Man, Matt, I mean, you like that Super Series? You think everyone kills him? You don't think he has a shot?
Yeah, he don't have no shot. 0. They're all killers. He doesn't want that word.
I don't pick him to win those fights. I'll put it that way. I think he definitely gives them good fights, but I don't pick him to beat those guys.
Got it. Well, Tyrone,
that's why I think.
Thanks for calling in, Tyrone. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you didn't already. We do many spontaneous shows, and obviously we want you to continue to call in. Appreciate that. We're going to head on out to the UK, to the AP, Robbie Hearn himself.
Dollar DiBiase Productions.
BJ was going to beat me, didn't you? You predict he's going to beat me. He got smashed.
Why the Wilder sold out 90,000? This guy has been pro for like 8 years, 9 years. If Wilder wants some of his work, he can definitely get it on ASAP.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Hey fellas, how you doing?
Doing good, Robbie. How are you?
Yeah, good man. I was trying. trying to get Dillian on there, but to no avail, it seems. Yeah, just first of all, was that Tyrone last caller? Damn, shots fired. Not a fan of Bellew, yeah. I think he's quite underrated in a lot of terms, but you know, you were discussing the weight differences there, and I just think the opportunity for Haye came up that first time round, and then if you remember, they were looking at the Andre Ward fight, which fell through for whatever reason. But I just don't think Tony Bellew wants, or whether he can even mix it with these, you know, proper big heavyweights. So I think it was looking at Andre Ward stepping up to cruiser and Tony going back down, and now he's in that sort of limbo position of is there a fight there at cruiserweight? Is there not? The heavyweights, but slightly selective on what these heavyweights are. I mean, he was obviously up for the David Haye rematch, but you know, I think there was a show, you know, a few months ago now with discussing the Andre Ward thing. We done a show from an interview that he did, you know, and he said about Wilder. He said, you know, he put his arms around that big back of Wilder's, and he was like, no way. So I think he's just in a bit of limbo. He wants to do a few more fights before he hangs up the gloves, but it's just, I think, slightly more selective on these fights that he wants to take. He just wants some big paydays. You talked about Dillian Whyte stepping in. I don't know if is that necessarily even a pay-per-view in the UK anymore without the David Haye after the first one, and you know, the controversial, well, not controversial, but the beating him on one leg storyline and this and the other, and it's created a buzz for the second one. Can a fit David Haye do it? As we reported, Haye was injured and it was going to happen. He pulled out, but I don't know, a Dillian Whyte fight, is that pay-per-view, and is that the ending to the sort of the year that Matchroom wanted? They wanted that big last pay-per-view. So I think it's tricky finding him an opponent that's going to maybe do the numbers that David Haye was going to do with him, because that was the dance partner that people wanted to see.
That is definitely true. Listen, Robbie, I'm not cutting you short, but we actually got to come back because we're going to be doing another show. So if you're a boxing fan, and it doesn't matter what sort of boxing talk we'll be talking, we will be back. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. But if you're an Errol Spence fan, well, then we'll be back to talk about Errol Spence and Lamont Peterson. And we'll also have a scheduled interview show tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time. Central being Errol Spence time, because we're going to be having his head trainer, Derek James, the trainer of Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence Jr., as well as Rob Brandt. So we'll have him on the program at 7:30. So don't forget to tune in. Same bat time, same bat channel, without a doubt. Final thoughts. Bellew has put on a hell of a second half of his career. If he retires today, he goes down in my book as a good guy. If he decides to drop down to cruiserweight and give it a shot, you know, he's still a good guy. But picking and choosing puts him in the category where he could be called out of his name. You know those names. They're synonymous with boxing and forums and boxing trolls. Cherry picker, ducker dodger. You pick your synonym. It is what it is, unfortunately. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. And yeah, don't forget to tune in, because we'll be right back at you.
My final thoughts. Tony Bellew can do whatever he wants. He's sort of positioned himself to be somewhat of a draw in the UK, somewhat of a name over there. And since he's towards the end of his career, he's wanting to pick and choose. And that's a common thing amongst boxers at the end of their career. They want to pick and choose their last couple fights and make it worthwhile. We've seen that. Look at Mayweather. Berto and McGregor. Those were his last two fights. Andre Berto and Conor McGregor. And he's the greatest boxer of the last 20, 30 years. Tony Bellew can pick and choose the last few fights. The industry says you can do that. There's precedent.
Look at Cotto's last fight.
Look at Cotto's last fight. I mean, come on. So, I mean, there's just tons of instances where when you're about to retire, you pick and choose easy fights that can get you some money. So this isn't anything new. I'm Matt the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, Matt Hunter TBV on Instagram. My MMA podcast, Mixed Combat News, Mixed Combat Radio on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, etc. And remember, 7:30 Eastern, Derek James on TBV. It'll be fun. Peace.